ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
Welcome in. It's the Tuesday, August 2nd edition. Your Drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for tuning in. We have got a fun show today because Chris Grassie, the head coach of the Marshall men's soccer team, is going to join us here the next few minutes. The preseason poll's out. Easy for me to say. The coach's poll is out. And we'll talk about where the Herds ranked in relation to the rest of the teams. There are three Sun Belt teams ranked in the preseason top 25. So we'll talk to Coach about that here in the next few minutes. But doesn't mean we won't talk to you as well. We've got the phone line open, and we've got the text line fired up, ready to go. We're going to do that today. Text line is 304-396-TALK. That's 304-396-8255. So that's fired up, ready to go for you. You can also find me on Twitter at Paul Swann. So however you want to be a part of the program, we've got that available for you. It's been a busy day, not only in the National League, the American League. It's trade deadline day. We've got news coming out of the NFL, and we've got a little Marshall news to start your day with as well. Let's start with that. Marshall offensive lineman Alex Millet, well, you know what? He's back in the league. He has signed with the Indianapolis Colts, so congratulations to him. That was a great little item to start my day with, finding out that he was back playing for now the Colts. Hopefully that's going to stick for him, and I look forward to seeing what he can do with Indianapolis. Speaking of the NFL, suspending the Miami Dolphins owner for 6 months and $1.5 million for tampering. So Stephen Ross is fined $1.5 million and suspended for tampering with Tom Brady and Sean Payton following a 6-month investigation, which was stemming from the discrimination lawsuit that Brian Flores filed against the league. And the investigation found that the Dolphins didn't intentionally lose games during the 2019 season, but the team had some impermissible communication with Tom Brady and his agent, also Peyton's agent, same guy, Don Yee. And the league made the investigation findings out today, put that out there, and basically said that $1.5 million for tampering, suspended for 6 months to Stephen Ross. And here's the big one. The NFL stripped the Dolphins of their 2023 first-rounder. That's a first-round draft pick. And the 2024 third-round pick for violating the integrity of the game. So no draft pick in 2023 in the first round for the Dolphins, and the third round in 2024 also going bye-bye. Now, we've been following baseball. The probably closer to home news today, first of all, Jose Quintana is staying in the Central, but the Pirates dealt him. So their lefty, their starting pitcher, goes to the Cardinals. 20 starts this season. Quintana is 3-5 with a 3.50 ERA and 89 strikeouts. St. Louis also acquired reliever Chris Stratton in the deal while sending John Avadio and Malcolm Nunez to Pittsburgh. So we'll have more on that. We've got Pirates baseball coming up tonight. It is starting at 6:40 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Also, the bigger news today, the San Diego Padres have agreed to a deal to acquire outfielder Juan Soto and first baseman Josh Bell from the Washington Nationals. So that's the big news today. If you're a Nationals fan right now, you are sad. And I've seen some National fans on social media. Very sad news today. You lose one of your favorite players. You lose really two good ones, Josh Bell, and you lose Juan Soto. It's as if the rebuild is on. It's as if the memories of a few years ago feel like maybe it happened a long time ago. You are a championship team. Now look at you. So, not a good day for Washington Nationals fans. If you are a Nationals fan, this is tough to swallow. At the same time, it happens all the time. Happens all the time. You see, teams evaluate and decide to go for the future or build for now. And of course, also, you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay for all this. So that's a pretty tough one to swallow today if you are a Nationals fan. So what do we got coming up on the show? Well, as I mentioned, we got your text coming in, and we'll do that 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll hear from Chris Grassie in a few minutes. We're going to talk about the soccer schedule. Of course, we're going to talk about the preseason poll. That's the big one. So we'll do that when we continue, and we'll get your phone calls and text and all that's coming up on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Do you like the show and you want to make your own? Well, let me tell you about Anchor. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And now you can even add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless for what you can create. Now, Anchor is going to distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast. No minimum listenership needed. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Tuesday, August 2nd edition. The Drive continues on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. The coaches poll's out, the United Soccer Coaches preseason poll, and there are 3 teams represented from the Sun Belt in the top 25. West Virginia University comes in at number 6. University of Kentucky comes in at number 8. And your Marshall Thundering Herd coming in at number 14. And to talk a little bit about that and the upcoming season, the head coach of the Marshall men's soccer team, Chris Grassie, is with us. And how do you feel about that? You come in as the hunter instead of the hunted. Do you like that position?
I think I'd rather be number 1, just because that means we've just won it the previous year generally. But yes, I do like building back up and having to re-earn it, and being able to chase down, some of the teams in our conference, WVU, Kentucky, that are ahead of us in the poll, gives us some great ammunition and obviously makes their jobs a little bit harder.
Also, the fact that you're forming a brand new, reforming a new league in the Sun Belt, new teams, and already you have 3 teams in the top 25, and I'm sure that's just going to get better. So that's got to make you feel good as well, knowing that the quality continues. And really, it's you and the affiliate members that are really anchoring this right now, and you hope the rest of the league catches up with you.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely how it is. But, we've talked about this before, Paul. We put a lot of work into building this conference, into getting WVU, Kentucky, making sure this was a home for, the top soccer teams in the country, and making sure the conference Sunbelt administration has been fantastic with, making sure that men's soccer is going to be the best it can possibly be, and we're going to be in the top 3 in the country. And so this is just kind of a signal of that. And yeah, we hope, next year there's, 6-8 teams from our conference in the top 25 next year, because that means we all had such a great year this year.
Chris Grassie is my guest, head coach of the Marshall men's soccer team. So you look at these preseason polls, and of course, they're great to talk about, and you'd love to be number 1 because, as you mentioned, that means you won it the previous season. But really, in the grand scheme of things, how do you approach this with your team? Because, they're going to look at it, they're going to see it. Is this something that it's great, but this really doesn't matter, or is this something that you can focus on with your team a little bit more?
It's something we probably won't even mention. We won't even talk about. I think that the pressure of trying to be number 1 and trying to live up to that isn't there this year. But look, we're 14th in the poll, I believe, and so if that was a league of 25, we're about mid-table, which is where if you look at over the sort of 5-year course that I've been here, the fact that we are constantly in the top 10 and in the top 5 is great, and we should be recognised. I feel like as a top 25 team every year, and then we're going to be competing for number 1. But we just don't really have any of those pressures that we had last year. Being defending national champions, and we're also coming off a fantastic spring with this new group of players. So we got to see what the new guys can do, and so like everything's we're in a great spot right now, without actually having kicked a ball or competed for anything. So it feels like we're in the right spot for the guys' mentality to be ranked sort of at 14, still in the top 25, but we still have a ton of work to do. We want to be the best here. We want to be national champs. So it kind of gives us that, a good snapshot of where we are, but in a good way to go to be the best,
How have preparations been at this point? Where are you at in your mind, and how well do you feel about it, and where do you need to be?
I feel really, really good about it. It was 2020 before the 2020 season. We were just talking about this today. We changed. We had a new goalkeeper. We had three new defenders coming into that back four. And we had some new guys to kind of bed in, and we didn't really know what the season was going to be like. I feel all of that optimism. I keep looking at the squad is, on paper right now, I feel like it's very strong. We have 16, 17 guys who feel like we're going to be competing and pushing for minutes and, give us some really good depth. And I feel like the schedule's pretty good. Like we're home. We don't really have any home stretches or away stretches. We're just home, away, with a nice rotation. So I feel like everything's set up to be super successful, and I'm really excited about it. It seems, with the short turnaround last year from the COVID season to the fall season, just felt like there was no real time to kind of get enthusiastic about the season. And this year feels like there's been too long again, where it's just like, okay, can the season just get here? And we're very, very excited about it, and I feel really positive. I think we've got to, judging by the spring, we've got a good, hungry group that listen, that like each other, that want to be together, and that want to win and play, really good soccer, really entertaining soccer. And I think we've got a great chance of being national champs again. Just obviously, we've got to focus on taking care of the conference, because the conference is so good, as you just mentioned, that if we can do that, great things will happen.
You get things started in 10 days. 1 hour, 39 minutes, and at this recording, 9 seconds as the countdown clock is on your schedule. And obviously, you can't wait. You're on the road for an exhibition game against Rio Grande. Talk to me a little bit about Rio, and what does Rio offer for you as far as a test, a challenge to get you ready for the season?
Yeah, Scott Morrissey's their coach, great coach. They're always one of the top teams in the NAIA. They're very local. We kind of play them every year. We play them in the spring, we play them in the fall. They come here, we go there. It's a really good test. Look, it's for both of us, for both teams. It's about 3 days, 4 days into preseason, and so it's just a good time to put. Some of that we'll be doing 2 days until we get there. So we'll have we start actually training with the guys on Tuesday. Although many of them have been back for captain's practices through the summer, so we should be in good shape. But it's that real first test to kind of, okay, here's the 6 sessions. I think we're going to have 6 training sessions over 3 days to kind of get the philosophy of play, the style of playing. And then when we go to Rio, it's going to be, implementation. But also, it's a chance we'll probably get 45 minutes for the entire squad, So we'll have, I think we'll play three halves, so a full game and then an extra half to get guys some minutes. And just gets that match fitness and see if they're implementing the things that we've been talking to them about over the first 6 days. And then it gives us a real chance, okay, we need to improve this, we need to improve that. So we just get a real good look. And, Rio Grande's a very good text. It'll be organized, it'll be well coached. And so it gives us a real opportunity to see, what we can do to defend what they're going to bring at us and how we can attack them. And, the guys getting our, philosophy down and understanding what we're asking of them in certain situations.
Would you feel this confident if you didn't have spring league? If you were in this position now without that, would you feel as confident about where you're at and just as a way to continue the progress of men's soccer and the college level. That spring game, really, when we talked about it, win or lose, you were happy to be actually playing it.
For sure. I think that's spring league. No, to answer your question, no, I wouldn't be. I mean, I might be as confident because I believe in us, but I think in having some evidence to back up that confidence, I feel like no, I wouldn't be as confident. I wouldn't know for sure that the guys who played in the spring can execute in the defensive schemes, the possession-based football, the different philosophies that we're trying to teach them about the way we want to play, because that was essentially a new group playing for the first time. We had some new players in there, guys playing in new positions, guys taking claim to a position for this year. So, no, I mean, if we didn't have the spring games, obviously the game against Louisville, they were pretty much unchanged from the team that finished joint top with Clemson in their ACC division. So, we were able to smash them at home, and we were able to, really, have some of the guys step up and take new leadership roles. And, so we're going to be a different team, and we learned that in the spring. And so I understand a little bit more about, the pulse of this group, the things that they're going to be strong at, and the things that we can count on, and the things that we have to make sure are always, on point, and then the other things we're going to need to work on. So I think without that competitive soccer in the spring to really sort of prove what we can do, I don't think I would have been as rightfully confident.
Single season match tickets now on sale. We need to talk about that. How are ticket sales going? Have you got an update on that? Because you look at the schedule, and I don't think we need to sell it any more than we already have, but you have a ranked WVU coming in. That's going to be a great match. You have a ranked Pittsburgh team coming in. And top to bottom, this is just going to be a tough schedule because none of the teams in the Sun Belt are just going to lay down for you just because you're the new kid on the block. You're not going to lay down for you. So how are ticket sales going, and how's the goal to try to get a little bit more expansion in there, fit as many people as you can? I know that push continues for you.
Yeah, so with the tickets, I haven't had an update recently. I'll have to get with Cole and see where we're at with tickets. I know there's been a lot of phone calls about people sitting with certain people in areas, and I know we're having a big green tent this year. It's going to be like a private bar area where big green members can come in and drink and look in the corner and kind of have that like sort of private VIP feel. And then we've added, the facilities guys have been great. Chris Luma, Andrew Brown, they've got we have all the bleachers that used to be in the indoor. They're kind of running along the length of the fence where the benches used to be on the opposite side to the stadium. So I think we're up to about 2,500 seats, or 2,500 people that we can fit into the building. So hopefully we can stretch a little bit for the WVU game and break 3,000 or break the record and go from there. But for every other game, I think we're going to have plenty of good seats. I know we have some exciting sort of developments with the stadium itself. I know there's a video board coming, probably not for this year, but for next year. This year we're going to have sort of signage boards, so it's going to look much more like a professional venue with the signage boards all the way around, which will kind of create that barrier, but still, give the fans a really good view of the stadium and kind of give them something to bang on at times and kind of make it feel a much more enclosed space where the crowd is right on top of you. So we're definitely taking small steps. I mean, I think over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to take some giant steps in the direction of increasing the stadium and the feel and the capacity. But right now, I think, interest is very high, and the stadium is, we're trying the best we can to accommodate as many people and give them a fantastic experience, when they get there, where they can go buy their drinks. They can kind of sit in a section with the whether it be the student section or Annex 2550. Supporters group. Everybody will have their sections where they can go with their friends and enjoy the experience and have a great time.
Chris Grassie is with me, the head coach of the Marshall men's soccer team. Something else I want to talk to you about. I noticed this the other day, and so I talked to a couple other coaches, kind of get a feel for what's going on. There's been some rebranding of sorts, and I noticed that every coach and every social media account is offering an opportunity for fans to buy gear, Marshall soccer branded gear. And, of course, a lot of this is going to help out the championship fund. So if you could talk a little bit about that, because, every dollar counts, and this is stuff that you can buy if you're a Marshall soccer fan, and it goes towards your program and helps you continue what you're trying to do.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, this is so the merchandise, and Taylor Hickman's done a great job of putting all that together. So fans can actually go in and buy something that has the M the Herd logo, which is our true logo, something with men's soccer on it, so they can buy official Marshall gear, Nike gear, for all the teams, not just our team, but you can buy specific gear for each team that you support. And then part of that money goes into the championship fund. Now, the championship fund I think it's a great idea. It's, Christian Spears has come in, and he's wanted to change more than a few things, but definitely in a positive direction. Look, a championship fund, put your money where your mouth is. We want to be a championship school. We want to win many championships. We want to win another national championship. It's right to name the funds championship funds. So how does this fundraising help you win national championships? What's your spend? What's the spend needed? What do you need to spend on to be able to win? And so kind of rebranding the championship funds, and then also giving everybody a chance to contribute to that fund by buying some Marshall gear, buying some gear that maybe they couldn't buy previously with sports-specific IDs and logos on, I think is a great idea, and I'm all for it. I think it's a fantastic initiative.
Okay, now I just want to make sure, I want to point this out. I'm not trying to get anybody into trouble, but I see the soccer gear on the website. It's on social media. I don't see the star, so you might want to make sure I get my star over the logo. I want my star.
That is an amazing point, and everything we have should have the star on as well. So let me get with management and tell them that's been brought to my attention, and we'll rectify that.
Just tell them it's me. Get me in trouble. Blame me. I'm the guy. But I'm sure. I'm sure it's not the final design. But I just want to make sure, because I don't want you to get that phone call when someone gets their brand new Marshall soccer shirt and they're excited, and they open it up and they don't see the star. I know how fans are.
No, you are. You've probably saved me many phone calls. So I'm glad you caught that.
That's what I'm here for, Coach.
We'll get that.
I'm here for you. That's what I'm here for. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. The schedule looks great. Exhibition should be fun. You've got some really challenging matches coming up. You've got at least a couple of ranked opponents to face off at home, so fans should really enjoy the season. And I like the way that, and we talked about this before, so this might be old news to some, but just the way that the league is handling scheduling, I think you're going to see better, higher quality soccer, because I don't think you're going to be run ragged with this schedule, and still it's going to be competitive.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I mean, that's it seems like such modern thinking, but it's so much common sense to say we need rest in between games so we'll produce, the best soccer that we can. And you're right, the Sun Belt have been amazingly supportive and on board with our ideas right away of we've gone back a weekend in the season here, so we play Kentucky, I think, on the weekend of the 16th. We play Kentucky as our first game, so we have those 3 weekends at the beginning of the season to be able to schedule some good non-conference opponents, but without, overburdening when we're playing a game with only 1 or 2 days rest. And then through the season, the back end of the season is amazing with the Sun Belt. So, we'll play a couple of midweek Sun Belt games, but basically using conference games instead of non-conference midweek games, so we can have a great conference tournament, and so we can play, a Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday schedule, for a conference tournament, quarterfinal, semifinal, final, with proper rest and recovery. And, the amount of times that Conference USA try to make the point, if we play Wednesday, Friday, Sunday for our championship, Conference USA teams generally didn't go past the third round in the NCAA tournament, because that fatigue catches up with you exactly when the sports scientists tell you it will, like 2 weeks, like a week later, or, you play one game, you get past it, and then you go to the next game, and all that fatigue from that ridiculous conference tournament schedule catches up with you. And now we won't have that. We'll have, lots of rest and recovery in between the game, or appropriate rest and recovery between games. And so the product will be better. The student athletes will have a better experience, and our conference will be stronger.
Chris Grassie, my guest. Again, the first exhibition match is on Friday, August 12th. That's at Rio Grande. Easy drive for Herd fans. And then first home exhibition match will be on Sunday, August 14th against Radford. And then you get things started off after the exhibition match with Maryland, which is going to be tough as well. You'll kick things off at home August 25th against VCU. They're all for real, but you keep records starting on August 25th.
That's right. I think it's preseason. You want to win games. We're just all competitive people, and so we want to win the games. But really, it's about getting our style of play implemented, making sure that we are fit enough to defend the way we'd like to defend, making sure we're composed enough, and we are, making the right decisions. And results in the first preseason not really that important. But you're right. Once we get to VCU, we want to be flying. We want to, start the season off with a home win, get our fans, used to winning at home, and used to creating an environment that helps us win by singing and chanting and supporting the team. And we want to kind of start off on the right foot. And you're right. August 25th, they start keeping score. They start tracking results, and they start making their predictions for national champions or national tournament teams. So we definitely want to be winning when it comes around to the VCU game.
Chris Grassie, my guest, head coach of the Marshall men's soccer team. I appreciate you doing this on such short notice. When the rankings came out today, I thought this would be a great chance to get you back here. Let's talk a little soccer with the Herd, and hopefully we can do it again real soon. Good luck in the preseason, and we'll get back to you here in a few weeks.
Of course, Paul. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate the support.
That's Chris Grassie, head coach of the Marshall men's soccer team. We got more coming up. It's The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back. It's Tuesday. It's August 2nd. It's The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've got the text line open for you now. We'll do that at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. If you weren't with us a few minutes ago, Chris Grassie was my guest, the head coach of the Marshall men's soccer team. You can get that interview later if you missed it on our podcast. All you have to do is find us and follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and you can listen to the interview. And of course, you'll never miss a show if you are a follower, so it'll come right to you. So I appreciate everyone who listens on the podcast. I appreciate you listening right now. And if you are listening, no matter if it's on the podcast or if it's on the airwaves, you can find me on Twitter. Let me know. Let me know where you're watching from as well, or listening. Watching. Yeah, that's me thinking that, yeah, that's a slip, hoping that we'll eventually get video streaming in here. Where are you listening from? I'm kind of curious. And I've come to find out that there are some interesting locations that people are downloading the show from. So if you're one of those people, thank you very much. The audience is a lot wider than I thought. And it was really simple. I just asked you to tell me where you're at, and I'm finding out that you're all over the place. So I appreciate that very much. So that's just me saying thank you to you as transitioning back here. I don't have the intern. He's going to be filling in for me tomorrow. I've got to take a day tomorrow, and he's going to step in tomorrow. And I believe Lindsey Webb from the Charleston Dirty Birds is going to be on the show for the usual Wednesday get-together. So there's that. And Christian's going to be stepping in for me next week as well, as the intern is now going to be on staff, believe it or not. So our intern has officially been hired, and so he's going to be filling in for me next week, and he's going to do a fantastic job, and he's going to be on your radio airwaves a little bit more here in the next few weeks, and I'll tell you about that in a few weeks. That's called a tease. So I'm teasing what's happening. So I just wanted to take a moment and thank you, and of course thank Christian's going to do a fantastic job filling in for me tomorrow. And of course, I know he's going to be excited to talk about the trade deadline. Something he does, he has a YouTube channel, and I'll let him tell you about that. He has a YouTube channel where he's breaking down highlights. And today he's probably having a blast editing, grabbing highlights of people on the trade deadline, and he gets a lot of people who follow that YouTube channel. So I'm going to let him talk about that if he wants to promote that. But you want a lot of baseball talk tomorrow? Christian is going to be your guy. He loves it. He eats it up, and he's a big Pirates fan, as we've kind of documented before. Speaking of the Pirates in action tonight, we've got that for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 as the Pirates are in action taking on Milwaukee. It is going to be an interesting showdown, I think. I think the Brewers are going to win this series, but Pittsburgh hasn't been bad. And we'll talk more about that, and we'll get your phone calls and text in. And we'll open the text line up right now, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More on this edition of The Drive in ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Our text line is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Keep that in your phone. We're about a month away from the start of college football for the Thundering Herd. I get a feeling you're going to be using it soon, so keep that in your phone. Of course, you can use it now. Again, that's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're looking back. It's The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've got Pirates baseball coming up tonight. First pitch is set for 7:05. It's going to be the Pirates taking on the Brewers, number 1 in the NL Central, against the 5th best team in the NL Central. Bryce Wilson on the mound for the Pirates tonight. Corbin Burns on the mound for Milwaukee. And I'll tell you what, I think I like Milwaukee in this, but Ke'Bryan Hayes has been pretty good so far. I've become a big fan of Ke'Bryan Hayes. As of right now, he's got 17 doubles, 3 triples. You like the stats, 5 home runs, and 29 RBI, and he's hitting .246. He's been pretty good. So I'm a big fan of his. So I like him. I hope that things continue in the right direction. And this is, again, I think I like the Brewers in this one, but we're going to find out tonight, and we got it for you. 7:05 first pitch. You can listen to it right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Baseball is starting to wind down. See, for me, baseball is winding down. I know we've got, it feels like 6 more months of baseball, but it's starting to wind down for me because we've got football coming up here soon. I am in that mode right now. I want to talk football. I want to talk high school football. I want to talk college football. I want to talk pro football. I'm back in that mode now. I want to talk football. And we are so close to talk about something other than how's the team going to look? How are they in practice? All of that stuff is fine. It's great. I want to talk about games. I want to talk about actual games. What is going to happen? What happened? What's going to happen the next week? I want to talk about that. I'm in that mode right now. I want to get into all of that. And so we're about 30-some days away. I haven't looked officially at the calendar. I know it's soon. I'll tell you what, we'll do it right now. Let's go ahead. Because, again, the countdown clock is on the schedule page over herdzone.com. One of my favorite features. We're 31 days, as of this moment, 31 days, 21 hours, 38 minutes, and 8 seconds until September 3rd at 3:30 p.m. against Norfolk State, the opener for the Thundering Herd. It's Hall of Fame weekend. It's also Spirit Day. That doesn't matter. It's the first game And I was telling you yesterday how I felt about this being, I think we're underestimating the value of Norfolk State. Now, Gardner-Webb, we'll talk about them in a few weeks. We'll have a better read on Gardner-Webb before October 1st. That's fine. But Norfolk State, I think we're underestimating the value in this game. I know it's not a sexy opponent. I get it. It's not a oh wow game. Your oh wow game is the road game against Notre Dame. That's your oh wow game. Instead, you've got a competitive schedule here. Sunbelt schedule makes up for a lot of the things you probably don't like about the non-conference schedule. Like, sure. How many of you are excited to play Bowling Green? I think that'll be a good, solid game. Notre Dame is going to be the Notre Dame game. But honestly, I think this is the best you're going to get for this schedule because you want Norfolk State to be a tune-up for Notre Dame. And then Bowling Green should be a good game. And then Troy will be your first introduction to Sun Belt football. And let's get one thing straight. Troy didn't do Marshall any favors the last couple of times that the Herd played Troy. So Troy's not going to just roll over and say, oh, here comes the Herd. And then, of course, you got the Gardner-Webb game, which serves as, again, a lot of this is, scheduling by necessity. Because I would rather tune up against Gardner-Webb before I get to Louisiana. Honestly, I would rather tune up. I'm okay with this. I'm good with this entire schedule. And I'm not going to say, oh, I'm not going to go to the Herd game because it's Norfolk State. One, I don't have that luxury anyway because it's my job. But two, it's the Herd. Marshall's playing. That's always been my attitude. Marshall's playing. Let's just be happy about it. Let's be happy that's the schedule and work towards tomorrow. Work towards having a successful season, and the schedule will be the schedule. The schedule's the schedule. What's the most important thing here? Win as many games as you can. One, in my mind, win as many games as you can. Two, win the East Division. 3, win the conference championship game. And 4, win the bowl game. You remember, I don't know if some of you remember, I would go into the Shoey and Bob Pruitt would have the goals right there. What are we doing? What are the goals? Undefeated at home. I mean, you go right into the Shoey and it's right there. You see it. Undefeated at home. Winning record on the road. Win the division. Win conference championship game. Win the bowl. Right there for every player to see. It wasn't schedule hard opponents. It's just like, okay, here's the schedule. It is what it is. The goal's the same. And honestly, I think that this year you don't worry about this as much with Norfolk State and with Gardner-Webb. Instead, you focus on, you got Notre Dame on the schedule. Bowling Green will be a good game. And you open up with Troy on the road in the Sun Belt. Those are the things I'm focusing on as far as the schedule is concerned. And getting ready for Louisiana. The blackout game, by the way, it's the blackout game. Wear black. And I appreciate what they're doing on the schedule this year. They're actually making sure that you know what's going on. I appreciate that because we know Coastal Carolina is going to be homecoming. We know that App State game is going to be the 1970 team memorial game. We know that. So appreciate that. We also know that Georgia State is going to be Youth Day. And we know that The blackout game is going to be Louisiana. Wear your black. Wear the black. By the way, just wear the black. Don't be, well, it's not our color. Don't be that fan. Just wear the black. The kids like the black. Wear the black. I like the black as an accent color. I'm totally flipped on the turf because it does make it pop. I've totally flipped on that. Before, I was not into it. I was you. You know what? I can change. You can too. Wear the black. Put the black on. It's one game. Wear the black. Do a blackout. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. And make it a big deal. Louisiana's coming in. And again, if you want to be successful in the Sun Belt, sell out the Dome. Right? Not, I'm going to wait till they have a good schedule. Well, here it is. I mean, Louisiana, it's pretty good. Coastal's really good. App State's really good. Georgia State's really good. There you go. Sun Belt. There's not a pushover in this schedule on the Sun Belt side. There's not. Tell me the pushover. Can you do it? Louisiana? No. Troy? No. James Madison? Don't sleep on them. Coastal? No. Old Dominion knows Marshall well, so it's not as if that's going to be easy. App State? Well, they beat the Herd last year. Georgia Southern? It's in Statesboro. That should be fun. And then Georgia State, that's a program that's got a lot of potential, and they're picked ahead of the Herd. So you know what I'm saying here is this is going to be a fun season. All right, that's football talk for the day. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to do it again tomorrow. Christian Palmer, more than likely going to be your guest host. Then I'll be back officially on Thursday and Friday. And then Christian's going to take over for me for a week next week. I look forward to hearing him. If you like baseball, Christian is your guy. He definitely loves baseball a lot. So have a great night, everyone. We will talk to you soon.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.